Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of the RFG Rambling Film Group podcast. Today we're going to be doing a Stan Lee tribute. Nothing too intricate or whatever, but we decided our best way to kind of honor his legacy is just kind of the most notable. Well, not the most notable, but just the things we've seen him in, just plain and simple. And so we're picking our top cameos. From actually, they go way back. Like as I was saying, I think his first recorded cameo was in 1989 on the original Incredible Hulk show. So yeah, he's been doing this cameo thing for a lot longer than I think any of us realize, and that's pretty cool. So we're gonna start off the day with that, and then we're gonna follow it up with another just kind of random idea that we had, where we're just gonna kind of go in depth and pick some of our favorite shows from or streaming exclusive shows, whether that be from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. Thank you. I knew there was another big one out there. Then we got the DC one that's now getting in the mix, and then I'm sure we'll have to update this list in not too long, around a year from now, when Disney gets in there, and then Apple, I'm pretty sure, is putting one out too. So yeah, streaming. Yeah. It's just getting bigger and bigger, crazier and crazier. So yeah, we'll this type of show talking about streaming things will get that much bigger from us when we do it. But before we actually jump in and go ahead and get started, we want to, as always, introduce the team that's talking to you guys today. So again, my name is Charles. Right next to me, we have Kelsey.
Hi guys.
And then remotely, we got two people with us today. We have our co-founder from The Jump, Sai, with us.
Hey everybody.
And then we have our new addition that we've been working with, also remotely. Are you guys in the same state? I just realized. Are you guys both from Arizona?
I think he's in California.
Oh, okay. So you've just been asking about his which time, because he mentioned time. I just thought potentially you were in a different time zone too.
Yeah,
but he's not. Still remote, but not from Arizona. We have Dan.
Hello.
Daniel, not from Arizona.
Yeah. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Does anybody want to go first, going over their Stan Lee cameos? Anybody just really itching to start talking about them?
I mean, I can go first on them. The one, probably my favorite one, is from the first Avenger, because that's actually my favorite Marvel movie in general. And it's the one where he's working at the museum and he comes back and he goes and he takes his, I'm sorry, it wasn't First Avenger, it was Winter Soldier, I believe. So where where his suit goes missing when he comes back, the World War II one, and he's kind of with a flashlight, he's I'm so fired. I just thought it was really funny because he's an old security guard, and I've always thought it's why do they hire old the oldest dudes for when it comes to I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody needs a job and stuff, but as a security guard, I feel when you're gonna do something or something happens and you have to kind of report something in or something, I don't see what they're gonna do too much. It's there's this, but anyway, I'm gonna start getting off topic. So I'm gonna go into the next cameo, which is the Age of Ultron one, where he's talking about how he can take shots from Asgard and everything, and then it pans out a few seconds later, and he's being dragged out, just incapacitated. So that one was pretty funny. It was just kind of one that I thought it was pretty hilarious. And then one that wasn't funny, but it was actually pretty cool, is when he's it's on the Amazing Spider-Man, when he's having the fight scene in the school and he's kind of doing his own thing, and the table almost hits him, and Spider-Man catches it and then pulls it back, and that was pretty cool. I like the way they kind of incorporated it. He just kind of walks out, and I believe he had headphones on that one, so he didn't even hear what was going on. So that was cool. And then the last one for me, and probably my second favorite out of the ones that I mentioned, was the actual old animated series that came out in the 90s, where he's on the phone in his office, and Spider-Man comes out and actually refers to him by first name and stuff, and he ends up taking him for a little joyride around New York while he's web slinging, And he's like, oh, so I've always wondered what web slinging felt like. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. That's cool. And anytime things can get kind of meta like that, that's
Yeah.
always a kick for me.
He does like the meta stuff.
Yeah. I can go next.
I was gonna say,
guess.
well,
Yeah.
you took one of mine, which was the Amazing Spider-Man one.
Yeah, I had that one on
because,
my list as well.
That was it's so good because he does have the headphones on, and you just hear like this classical music all in the background and stuff while everything's just getting destroyed. So that's always a good one. That was one of my favorites.
So yeah. So I won't talk about that one really, but the next one I had on, and these aren't like ranked in any particular order, but one of the other ones that I enjoyed because it did catch me off guard is his cameo in the first Deadpool where he's like the DJ for the strip club.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize he was gonna like. It makes sense that he has a cameo in it, but I just wasn't even thinking along those lines in that movie. And then when he's just like, "Give it up for chastity," I was just like, "Wow!"
He's got like the headphones on too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's like doing things.
Yeah, so that was a funny one. That was for sure a funny one. Another one that was fun for me was I guess not his most recent one, but one of them when he's that bus driver in Infinity War. That was a really fun moment, like right before things go to crap, basically. Yeah, that was funny to me. And then my last two, I think, like especially given it like the series aspect of it, I think the Guardians, plural, both movies have the best like cameos when you just look at like at least a duo of movies. Just the ways they incorporated him being like the guy on Xandar where Rocket is just like disgusted with him, like dating like crazy young women or whatever. And then
then he's with like the like pink alien like girl, right?
Yeah. And then it was also really funny. And the second one it's completely different. And he's like telling like I guess the Watchers, which I don't know if they'll ever have like a greater role in the MCU, but he's just telling them, but basically kind of insinuating he's been around like for all these different stories in the MCU and just telling them about what's happened. Like, so those are my top ones, all pretty recent. There's of course other ones that kind of go back, but when I reflect, I like these ones more. But there is one for whatever reason, it's not like even that great of a cameo, but just sticks in my head like almost more than any other, which kind of it's almost upsetting to me because it's again not a particularly great one. But it's from that 2008 Incredible Hulk movie when he gets the bottle that got Hulk's blood in, and he takes them and says, "Oh, this one's got a kick" or whatever, and then he's getting pulled out in the picture. Like
I was debating whether I was going to put that one on my list because it is one that you just oddly enough remember, but again, it's definitely not near the best one that he's done. But it is one that I don't think I'll ever forget, and I have no reason why I will never forget it.
I think part of it is just the weirdness of the concept that Hulk's blood is in the soda. Like, you know, like that was always just a weird thing to me. Like, that's a weird plot device to show that we're figuring out where he is. That's odd to me. And then that Stanley ends up drinking it. But yeah, that's it for me.
I only have one more left, so I'm gonna go side. Then you can go because they've taken them. So my last one is from Doctor Strange, and it's where like he's just chilling on the bus and like Doctor Strange is like thrown onto it and he like slides like past him. Do you know what I'm talking about? And Stanley's just like there flipping a newspaper, just reading. I guess I like the ones where he's just completely oblivious to all the craziness that's going on around him. Because he's just sitting there like reading a newspaper with his sunglasses on, completely unaware. For some reason, those ones get me because I sometimes feel like I'd be that person that's just completely unaware of what's going on. All the disaster. Right? Yeah, I'm observant, but at the same time, I could be that person. So I think I have it's a kindred thing.
Oh, yeah. So I did actually go through and kind of put mine in an order. So I'm just going to go ahead and list mine. Some of them we've already talked about, so I just won't go into detail about them. But my first one is from Fantastic Four: The Silver Surfer, where he's the wedding crasher. That one was pretty funny to me. Just him, the idea of like normally wedding crashers are like young people, like maybe in their 30s, but to imagine like this old 80-year-old man deciding to crash a wedding is really funny for me. And then my second top one was definitely from Captain America: Winter Soldier, where the suit does get taken and he's just like, oh shit, I'm fired. Like, this is it. And then number 3 is 2004 Spider-Man 2. For a couple of reasons. You actually get to see him like actually save someone. There's debris falling from a building during a fight between Spider-Man and Doc Ock, and he moves a little girl out the way. So kind of to get to see him do a heroic thing in these cameos is pretty cool. And also, a lot of people talk crap about the original Spider-Man movies because Spider-Man 3 is just so bad. It does, for some people, kind of just ruin the whole series for some people. Yeah, I see your face, Chuck. I have seen plenty of people like crap on the whole series, but when you like really talk to them, it's mainly because they hate the third one so much.
That's unacceptable.
It's warranted how much they hate the third one, because that's how much I hate the third one. But the second Spider-Man is still
one of my favorites. It's one of the best ones. Yeah.
One of the best superhero movies.
I was including superhero movies, not just Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah.
I think it probably is the best Spider-Man movie. Actually, no, I really liked the first Amazing Spider-Man. Oh no, I can't do this.
Yeah,
I can't do this. We're gonna get
it's the Spider-Mans are hard because there's so many of them that are good, but in my opinion, they lack in certain aspects as far as like the representation of Peter Parker versus representation of Spider-Man, and how some actors do one better than the other and things like that.
Yeah, like
same thing with Batman a lot of times.
When people say that, like, in the original Spider-Man, that's where we got the best version of Spider-Man. And then in the Amazing Spider-Man, that's when we got the best representation of Peter Parker. And then so far with Tom, we've kind of gotten the best of both. Like, he's a really good Peter Parker, but he's also a really good Spider-Man. Like, that's very true as far as like how the actors have portrayed Spider-Man. And a lot of it isn't really due to the actors. It's more so the writing and just how they write the character. But yeah, debating the top Spider-Man movies, it's a little bit difficult for many reasons.
Whenever the next one comes out, I think we should do it, because at that point, how many is that going to be? 5, 6, 7? It's going to be 7 Spider-Man movies at that point.
Individually, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
Well,
maybe time to.
Well,
rank.
3. No, that'll be 6.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 3.
7.
Would it be?
Then the 2 Spider-Mans, Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Homecoming,
You're right. I'm sorry. And then to see my next one, the 1994 Spider-Man animated series, seeing him Spider-Man meet Stan Lee, and even he kind of geeks out a little bit over meeting him, and they both geek out over each other really. And then Stan Lee you seeing him web sling around New York is pretty cool. And then it was really hard to decide my number 5, but I decided to go with the one that started it all, which is from 1989. His first cameo was in the trial of the Incredible Hulk. He's actually a juror on the trial. He doesn't really say much, but you see him there. And considering how iconic his cameos have gotten, it's kind of cool to like go all the way back to where it all started. I do have an honorable mention, and that's just again talking about how iconic his cameos have gotten. The fact that he got a cameo in the Teen Titan Go movie is just hilarious to me.
That was so cute and funny. Oh my goodness, I loved that.
It's
they're like, Stan, this is a DC movie, and he's like,
oh, I gotta get out of here. And then he shows up again, and he's like, oh, screw it if it's a DC movie. I'm Stan Lee.
It was so good. I loved that.
So that was awesome. But yeah, those are definitely my top Stan Lee moments. And it's sad to know that after Far From Home, I think, we're not gonna get any more.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Stan.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's got an undeniable legacy. So, like,
Absolutely.
That'll always be with us. But yeah, it's just a real tragic loss. But at the same time, he was able to
live he seems like he lived a long, full life. So that's good.
Yeah.
Cut like prematurely.
Yeah,
and and like working in the medical field and stuff. It's like it seemed like he was always a pretty decent health. I know he went into the hospital for certain things, but I mean, there's people who are older than him that like they're in and out of the hospital all the time. And he seemed like he was having a pretty fulfilled. I mean, obviously we don't know too much about his personal life and what was going on with that. But I mean, for an older guy, his health was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I was just gonna say, I can also only think of one instance where we ever heard anything bad about Stan Lee, and even that one thing turned out to like be complete BS, and it kind of sucks that happened this year, for them to kind of just crap on his name when he's never really done anything wrong and he's tried to do good for everybody. So yeah, Stan Lee has been just an amazing person, not just in the world of geeks, but just in the humankind in general. He's been an awesome person to watch and watch him put his imprint on the world.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, two quick things that just like further to his like legacy and that are one that's inspiring and one that'd be cool to see. One, like I was seeing something, I believe it was on Twitter not too long ago, that I think he didn't even create the Fantastic Four, which like a lot of people attribute as like one of his best and biggest creations.
Mm-hmm.
Until I think he was 38. He was either 38 or 48. So well into his life that he didn't really start to get things going. Like the second half of his life was far bigger and more impactful and far more successful than the first half of his life. And I think that's just a good message for people to have of all ages, of just like, never give up on your dreams, never stop working for it, never stop pursuing it. You don't know how close you could potentially be to that breakthrough.
Or even if you're there, like, don't stop. Like, there's still always something more you can do, something better that you can do.
Yeah. And then my other thought would be, I think it'd be really cool. I feel like at some point there has to be a biopic.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
And I think two actors would be like perfect for like the older Stan and the younger Stan. For the older Stan, Bryan Cranston has already like expressed like interest in doing it, and there's also from some film he was already in. There's a picture of him with like sunglasses and a mustache, and my goodness, he really looks like he did it. And then equally so, it'd be like just kind of like a double kind of awesome thing is that if you look at young pictures of Stan, Tom Holland really resembled him.
Yeah, he really does.
We could potentially get like Tom Holland playing a young Stan and then Bryan Cranston playing the older version in a biopic. That'd be pretty cool.
And Tom has mentioned he wouldn't mind doing that in a biopic. So both actors have expressed that they would be on board if it is to be done. And another just kind of like the life view that Stan gave me personally was he talked about when he first started getting into comic books and drawing, he felt bad because he felt like he wasn't really affecting the world. Like he was like, doctors, scientists, lawyers, or lawmakers, they really have an effect on what the world looks like. But he said one day he realized that if it wasn't for entertainment, a lot of us would be miserable and we would probably, kill ourselves or go down dark paths if we didn't have entertainment. And that's when he finally realized that what he was doing was just as important as what people describe like being a doctor. Like it's just as important as that. We need entertainment just as much as we need other things. And so just that view of to have belief in what you're doing, whether it be small or big, does have an impact on the world. It's definitely something that we can all kind of look at and attribute to.
For sure. Yeah, once again, R.I.P. Stan. As we're going to go ahead and transition to the other topic of discussion, which was just kind of highlight some of the streaming service shows that we're fans of or that we're watching and following, or, at least I guess more of what we've seen recently that we really enjoyed. Because if we just talk about what we like and what we've watched, that could be a very, very long conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to pick,
Of only streaming things, you think so?
Yeah, that's... you're being sarcastic.
No, I'm being serious.
Yeah, I think there's so much content on
There is,
Netflix,
but we don't watch I don't watch like a ton of like it originated streaming. I watch a lot of the current stuff I do via Netflix now, but I tend to rewatch, like we're rewatching The Office right now. That didn't originate on like Netflix or Hulu or like a streaming service. Like that was on TV and I just happened to stream it now.
Well, I know me personally, like for a while I didn't have cable or anything like that. So I've seen a fair amount of Netflix originals and stuff like that. So anyways, the point being, that'd be a much longer conversation than I think we're trying to have right now. So I know for me, I'm only going to pick things that I've seen in basically the last 2 months.
Perfect.
I think because of that, I think our lists are going to be pretty similar. So if one of you guys wants to go first, because we'll talk about the same things. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Daniel, I know it was your idea, so if you wanted to start us off, that would be fine.
So for me, one that has stood out a lot, and I've talked about it in previous streams, is the the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
I find that one to be probably one of my favorite Netflix originals to date that I've been watching. It's just good. It's a good little, like, it has good horror elements. It has a lot of, like, it's really dark, and which is not what I was expecting from the series itself, especially coming from something with, like, the old series with Melissa Joan Hart and stuff like that, where it was a little bit more sitcom-y and things like that. So I went into it thinking, it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like, how good can this actually be? And surprisingly, it was a lot. Like, I binge watched it in like a week, and and that's for me. That's a lot because I work a lot. So for me to finish it in a week, and then apparently my dog wants to be a little needy right now.
That happened.
Yeah. And so I definitely, if you guys like a little bit of like the people listening like a little bit of horror in there, it's not like jump scares or anything. It's more of like just dark themes. And definitely recommend that one. The other one that I really, really enjoyed that I recently watched was Castlevania. A little animated show based off the games. Really good, really gritty, really more adult themed. Like, there's a lot of stuff they talk about, a lot of stuff they say. They're over there talking smack about each other, calling them like, okay, give me a quick second, I'm gonna migrate because he's on timeout right now. Give me a sec. So those are definitely those two are the ones that I'm digging right now. I'm trying to think of the other one that I was watching that was the original. It was Castlevania, that one, and I started watching Haunted House on Hill Haunted House. Yeah, there you go.
I finally have it.
Hill on Hunting House.
Yeah, I finally have it like in my head. Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, Haunting of Hill House. I only watched the first couple episodes, and it looked pretty good. I can't really give my full opinion on it like I can about the other ones, specifically because I haven't watched it all. But out of that one, those are the two that I've been recently watching, and obviously Titans from the DC Universe app.
Yeah,
they're the Titans has been pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised, mainly because I went into it not really expecting to really like enjoy the show, but I actually kind of ended up liking it more because of what it did that way. Like the whole Dick Grayson thing, like the spot where he's at, I feel like it makes sense. I don't want to say too much for people who are actually going to watch it, but the spot where he's kind of, there's like a scene that I saw where he goes like where he says "fuck Batman," and I was like, Dick Grayson's always been like the goody two shoes Robin, and so when I saw that one, I was like, when they said that, I was kind of like, I feel like they kind of got Dick Grayson out of character, and they showed that in the teaser trailers and stuff.
Yeah,
but the way they portrayed it, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I feel like he's kind of in between. He's still developing who Dick Grayson is, and I feel like that's kind of what they're alluding to in the show, that he's still kind of figuring out who he actually is. And I really enjoyed that. I was like, you know what, I can get behind it because, like, I love Dick Grayson. He's my favorite Robin, and it's kind of something that they never really, I feel like they didn't really address too much, unless it's just a comic book that I didn't read where they addressed the whole situation kind of thing. But it's something new to me, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool, and I'm really digging it.
And they really doubled down on that in this last episode with spoiler alert, but Jason Todd makes an appearance.
It's not really a spoiler alert. The episode's titled Jason Todd. Not really
just saying.
Yeah.
They end up having a pretty pointed conversation that like really foreshadows, or not only foreshadows, but like highlights where Dick is right now, and
plus, I think it's going to put him on the path to being Nightwing and everything
exactly,
anyway.
the road to be on,
because Nightwing's like one of my favorite DC characters. Yeah. I love Dick, so
I'm looking forward to him being more that Nightwing character.
Yes. Bring on Nightwing.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll still happen in this season, but it's for sure.
I don't know.
On the horizon.
Yeah, I was hoping for what's it called? I saw the Jason Todd cameo, and I'm hoping for a what's it called? I can't think of the other one. Actually, I lied. I'm gonna retract my previous statement of my favorite Robin being Nightwing. My favorite Robin's actually Red Robin, but I just can't think of it. I just can't think of his name right now. Timothy Drake. Yeah, Tim Drake.
Yeah, that's a good one too, for sure.
Yeah.
Stein, do you mind? Because I think Titans was going to be on our list. Do you mind if we just transition to us?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're watching Titans.
So that is one of the shows we're watching. We didn't start it right away. Like I think we were like 3 weeks before we put it on.
Yeah.
And then we did a quick binge, and then we've been to date since then.
We are up to date. We've seen all the episodes available.
Do you want to talk about it first, or you want me?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll start because I think I might be a little bit more negative. I'm not in love with it so far. There's elements of it that I'm definitely enjoying, but I think there's two elements in it that just isn't quite doing it for me. One, there's at times where it's not that dynamic. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of stagnant, and that kind of also reflects on, to some extent, the story. Like, we know what the driving force is, that they're trying to protect Rachel and figure out who Rachel is and everything like that. Who also is, if you're not familiar with the character, that's Raven.
That's Raven, yeah.
It just there's not a great sense of urgency throughout the story, besides when someone finds himself in like mortal danger, basically. Outside of that, there's not a real urgency, and it really kind of feels haphazard how the team has come together. But at the same time, I definitely do enjoy the team dynamic that they have created. It's just a weird way to me personally about how they've all come together. And then kind of going along with all that and like in the background the whole time, this is one criticism that I saw like of people that like kind of reviewed the show earlier, where they got to see some of the episodes before they launched and everything. And I kind of like put off where I thought people were being overly sensitive potentially, but I understand the criticism. It's not as huge a deal to me, but it overindulges, I believe, in dark and grittiness. Like, I feel like there's content, whether it's movies or shows, where they plunge themselves into like the darkness and grittiness like that, and it's a better reflection of the nature of what's going on and the story that they're trying to tell. It doesn't feel like that for Titans. It doesn't feel like it needs to be this dark and gritty. Like, it feels like where they should be trying to go with Titans is that they want it to be serious and taken seriously. But instead of doing that, or just like treating it that way, they attempt to accomplish that by making it dark and gritty. And I just don't feel like that's... I don't think that was the right decision, me personally. So while I like the journey that Dick Grayson is on, I don't like that it comes from him being in such a dark and gritty place to becoming Nightwing. And I don't like that... my familiarity with Starfire isn't really outside of what I've just seen in the animation and everything, whether it be the DC animated universe, like the films that they make now, or the old Teen Titans show. So, like, this version of Starfire just, like, I don't want to say revels in, but it's just, like, real casual with killing people, and real casual with, like, just, like, murder and everything like that.
She is like the first time we saw her.
Yeah, but it's so over the top in the first couple of instances. It's just like,
but she hasn't done that in a bit.
Yeah, but it's still like, it's your initial reaction with an interaction with it. And it's just like, what are you trying to do here, guys?
Yeah, and I feel like in that part they're trying to build on. Maybe they're trying to do like like that Robin's kind of like a grounding thing for her. They're trying to build, because we all know that there's obviously a relationship between the two, so maybe they're trying to make it a little more impactful in the fact that, hey, she came in here like guns blazing, and now like she met maybe like a human that isn't just what's called, maybe like a random flesh bag that she's gonna go around and kill. Maybe he kind of like grounds her to not killing. But again, that, like, I'm in the same boat as you as far as her as far as my knowledge for Starfire. I know that most of it comes from the animation of Teen Titans, and she was always kind of like the innocent, kind of like not sure about human culture and everything, and was always curious about things. So, like he said, the fact that she's kind of just like it's like,
you guys are making it sound like she's just killing people like while she's walking down the street. She's not just killing
on a mission.
Like, there's the people that she has killed, it's for a very particular reason. Does she like revel in that? Yes, she does. That's not what I'm denying. Okay. But she's also not just walking down the street, just like pissed off and murdering people.
For sure.
Just going. Because the way you guys are talking, that's how it's sounding. And that's not at all what it is. And I get what you're saying. Like, it is dark and it is gritty. And it is kind of centered because of the place where Dick is at. But I'm okay with darker, gritty Dick. I don't think this is going to be a permanent thing. I think this is just his character arc coming off of everything that he's discussed about how his relationship with Batman has ended up turning out, or Bruce, but has ended up turning out, and why he decided to leave, and the stuff with his family. But he's dark and gritty. I get what you're saying. It does kind of go like darkness just for darkness sake sometimes. Like, I get that. But overall, the whole thing, I think it's centered in that because of where Dick's at, and I don't think he's going to be here much, much, much longer.
I got you. I just don't think they had to. I think they could convey what we're talking about, what you just said, without going as far as they have. Because, like, another aspect of it is just how violent Dick is now.
Dick is real violent.
And that's also another thing of this show in general. It's the overindulgence in darkness and greenness. Like, there's blood spray all the time from hits. There's, like, he's stabbing people with his, like,
Robin ring, what you
want to call it. Like, it's just,
there's at one point where he, like, puts, like, shattered glass in somebody and, like, rubs it all the way through.
I was just like, what are we doing here?
That's
what can show that he's being too violent, but just, like, it could be he has someone in a lock and ends up breaking their arm instead of just holding it in the lock and throwing him down. You can still convey, and him even reveling in that versus him dragging a face across the glass. Like, you can still communicate what you're trying to convey without going over the top. And that's my biggest criticism with the show. It's just way too over the top of things right now.
I'm personally okay with it because I love the Flashpoint paradox with Thomas Wayne, and then on the last Batman vs Superman where he's in the tank and he's just kind of like nonchalantly blowing people up on the tank that he's doing when he's doing the chase or whatever. So I'm okay with it. Like, I enjoy it. I find it more refreshing than the whole I'm gonna knock you out and you're gonna be knocked out for 42 hours while I do the rest of the mission and you never wake back up. But
I mean, like, my one issue with that is, I mean, Thomas Wayne, like, we've known from, like, when you see him as Batman, like, he's always been that dark. When it comes to, like, Dick and some of these other characters, that's not traditionally how they are. And again, I understand, like, the moment in his life where he's trying to be, again, like Chuck has mentioned, like, you can display that without kind of having to push it that far. And I do think part of the reason they're pushing it that far is they heard, a lot of fans' criticism with Teen Titan Go and it being a little soft and kiddie and jokey, and they didn't, and instead of just kind of putting it in the middle, they decided to just go ahead and throw everything off the cliff into darkness and horror.
No, I got you. It is dark. It is violent.
I was going to piggyback off of what you were saying, Dan. You gave, like, your two examples of the Flashpoint Batman and Thomas Wayne, and even Batman in Batman v Superman. But, like, the biggest things I can say with those characters is we also, like, in the medium, whether it's the comic or the movies that respectively have been created, we see and we are able to understand exactly why Bruce or Thomas are acting the ways that they're acting. I feel like with Titans so far, what they've demonstrated being Dick's experience does not warrant violence to this level. So far, in my opinion.
Well, they kind of do warrant it because even he is trying to put down that persona because he feels like that persona has gotten out of control. And he's referenced it multiple times throughout the show where it's almost like he doesn't even want to be Robin because of how he feels like. So it shows that struggle of that's actually why I like it so much, is because it actually shows that he's struggling with that alter ego, because when he puts on that alter ego, he becomes something that he doesn't like.
And that's completely fine with me. I just need the show to show me why he's there. How he got there.
We get that he's trying to change. We just don't understand, like, what the hell, like, made him.
What pushed you
so
so far?
He absolutely loses it anytime he pops it.
You know, something that would be pretty cool that that would have been probably really clever to include is, I don't know if you've ever watched Arrow.
Yeah.
How they do, like, the flashback to the island every once in a while. Like, I feel like that would probably be, so it could have been something that they incorporated into the show where, like, whenever he talks, maybe it has, like, a flashback of something that he did as Robin with Bruce and stuff like that. So, but yeah,
we don't have a Bruce and all that. Anyway, Sai, what were you going to say?
I don't remember.
I was just going to say, and this could be my final thought that you brought up Arrow, because, take it as you will. I know a lot of people don't care for the CW shows and everything, but the tone in which Arrow is approached, where it has a darkness, it has a grittiness and a seriousness to it, I just feel like that sensibility is more in line with where I feel like Titans should be. Because, I mean, for goodness sake, Rachel and, I can't remember, Beast Boys, Gar, they're like early to mid-teens tops. And I'm never a huge fan of seeing, like, children in executing extreme acts of violence or being around it. So, like,
unless they give a legit reason as to why, because, like, in Logan, obviously X-23, like, she's extremely violent, but there's a reason as to why she's there, and they explain that very well. So I don't think the issue is that kids always have to be in these little like nice packages. We understand that kids go through stuff, but at least show me why they're what they're going through to make them so violent.
You beautifully articulated what I was trying to convey.
But I do think that they do that well with Rachel. Honestly,
true.
Like her darkness and stuff like that. Like it's for Titans, they actually do that well, where we do understand like what's going on. In that we don't understand what's going on because she doesn't understand what's going on.
She's the only one that we've seen enough displayed that warrants her being as violent as she is.
And Gar's not violent.
Has no control.
And Gar's not violent, so that he doesn't count.
He is her light right now. It's like the only thing that
I never even hit anybody. Yeah.
But they do like it's well done how they portray Rachel because she's very much the glue that's holding everybody together right now.
Oh yeah, she's
like Gar's the reason for her and Corey because she has no idea who the hell she is, and then Dick because he feels obligated and all this other stuff, right? But they are doing a really good job with Rachel and driving that forward because she is incredibly dark and she's definitely killed people and all this other stuff, but she loses it, and it's from trauma, and it's a lot of times out of like life preserving measures and things like that. Right. So they do a good job with her darkness and her violence, better than everybody else for sure. And so we talked a lot about the negatives, so I'm going to talk real quick my positives. But I am in general on the same boat with the darkness stuff. Positives. I like the chemistry between Corey and Dick. It wasn't immediate off the bat, but it's slowly been getting there, which is good. I like that. I like when things take time and they're just kind of like cheeky with each other is like the best way I can describe it right now. But so I do like their relationship. I really like Gar's character because kind of like what you said, like he's their light right now. That poor kid is just he seems so good and so pure, and he's just thrown in with all of this dark and violenceness anyway. So I do really like that. And then kind of the positive, what they're doing with Rachel. So I do like that all. I really wish we would have a better sense of who the villain actually is besides the like crazy robot family people. They've been like they've been like the main villain-ish because they've been like 3 episodes or so. Yeah, they're dead now.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. So get more info on like who the actual villain is because that was kind of their like mini episode arc villain for like a little bit. But
I mean,
we'll see.
Judging by what they say, I mean, it seems like they're doing the arc of her father's. That seems like that's where they're going with it. So
I for sure that's it. But it's just the fact that we don't actually have anything on it so far. That's what
it's for sure followers of Triton. I don't know who is the I don't know if there's a comic character that like is I'm gonna say a boss for them to fight that like is like a devoted follower and it's just teasing that Triton's out there and he will be a factor. I don't think he's going to be a factor in this season. But I'm wondering if there is a character that's known for like being like a
what's his face
figurehead.
It is Deadshot. No, I can't remember his name, but they do have like a actual like key bad guy that they kind of go against a lot, and then like he hires kind of like in the cartoon. The cartoon did a pretty good job of it, where like he'll hire his own team of like teenage bad guys to fight them.
Talking like Slade.
Yes, I'm sorry, that's who I was talking about. I don't know why I said Deadshot, but yes, it's Slade. But he hires like his own like group of teen assassins to fight them, and then they have to like go through that and then eventually get to Slade. So that really is in the comics. That is kind of like their one big known bad guy.
Right, but I was speaking to Deathstroke.
That's what it is. That's why I said Deadshot because I'm like, there's a D in there. And I just couldn't remember it.
I think of him like, it's not Deadshot, it's not Deadpool, but I know it's something to do with dead or death or dying or something. And I'm like, what is...
No, Deathstroke's out there. I know that at some point he'll have to be a big role on the show. I was staying more in that we know that Triton is like a a focal point that
Gotcha.
they're setting up right now. I'm trying to think: is there a villain that is trying, is like right hand human basically, that pulls all the strings, and then there's also like a physical threat to the Titans that they could face for this season.
I misunderstood.
Oh, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
At least not that I'm aware of.
So yeah, we saw your empty chair there a few times when you spoke because it cuts away. So we were wondering what the
I was grabbing a couple things real quick.
Gotcha. Okay. I think we covered Titans. I know enough. we went.
What's
pretty
your next one?
So the other two shows that we have watched recently were both Netflix. I don't want to say there's definitely some shows on Amazon Prime that I've been meaning to watch that I haven't. I'd say if there's anything Hulu exclusively that I've seen where I'm like, you know what, I need to go ahead and check that one out.
Yeah.
But for Netflix, the other two that we've most recently watched would be The Haunting of Hill House, which is amazing.
What's the other one?
Well, I was gonna talk for a second.
I'm just curious because I can't remember. Oh yeah.
But yeah, Haunting of Hill House, it is amazing. It's up there as just one of the best horror stories, period, that I personally have seen. It's really, really well done. It's not jump scare. It's just purely situational and story development, increasing or heightening the sense of dread in you. It's really well done. And then the other thing that is hilarious and really disappointing that it's been canceled by Netflix is American Vandal. The first season was great. The second season to me is even better. I think it's amazing. And yeah, if you're fans of comedy or horror, watch those respective shows. I can't recommend them enough.
That's great.
I've been watching the second season of American Vandal, and I don't know what it is. I do not like it. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I don't like it nearly as much as I like the first season. That's what I'll say. I don't hate it. I don't despise it or anything, but I haven't really gotten the same enjoyment as I did from the first one.
Dang. Yeah, I'm the opposite. It's not like
we were 4 episodes in, and Charles was like, "This one's so much better than the first one." We haven't even got started. 8 episodes left.
I was gonna say it's not like leaps and bounds better because the first season is great in its own right. But yeah, I really, whether it be the characters that they developed in it,
he just likes the brown out,
or the characters they developed, the way the story just kind of got fleshed out and how intricate everything was. Yeah, man, that was a really, really good season to me. So I'm still really bummed that it looks like this is it.
Yeah,
unless something picks it up.
It does suck that it's not going to continue because I do think it was good enough to get a third season. But definitely, me personally, I didn't enjoy it. I will admit, I was really looking forward to it because you had mentioned how much you liked it, and again, I really loved the first season, and I just didn't get that same enjoyment out of the second season.
Did you finish it?
I'm almost finished, so I haven't finished it yet, but I got 2 episodes left, and I just haven't.
Okay, let's chat after you finish it because I kind of was in your boat where I'm like, he's all in on the second one. I think I still prefer the first one overall, but the last probably 3 episodes, I think may have pushed it up a little bit higher for me.
Maybe I'll
just how everything comes together. So let's chat after you finish it. Yeah. And I wonder if your opinion changed because I was kind of feeling similar to you too. I still think the first one's my favorite overall. They're both hilarious. If you haven't seen any of the seasons, either, I guess.
Oh yeah,
you should go check them out. They're fantastic. They're not joke funny, but they're
just situational. Yeah.
It's so serious.
Yes, both are great. Were those our last ones?
Yeah, I think that's all that we've
like streaming stuff.
Definitely completed, but I don't think we've even started anything else streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, like I'll go over mine. There's a couple that like I'm watching that you guys have already mentioned, so like I won't really go into those. And then again, since I'm kind of like the anime super fan here, I'll mention like the fall/winter anime that's kind of going on right now that I've been watching. But I'll start with Netflix. I can't remember when part 2 of this show launched on Netflix, but I recently just realized that it had a part 2, so I just started it. Making a Murderer. The first part was really, really interesting, and I don't know what it is. I definitely feel like deep down I'm probably like, or in a past life I was a serial killer, because I am way too into serial killer documentaries. I don't know what it is, but they are amazing documentaries in like going on YouTube and entering the dark hole of like serial killer interviews at like 3 a.m. I'm a stickler for that. I don't know why. But yeah, the second part of Making a Murderer has just been just as confusing, and like, did he, like, the back and forth of did he do it, did he not do it? No, there's no way he did it. Oh wait, maybe he did do it. Like, it's been just as crazy as the first part. Have you guys watched any of it at all?
No, but I want to so bad. I've heard such good things.
Yeah.
It's just the whole time and content issue always.
You guys definitely have to watch it. Like, it really is, like, you're watching, and one episode you're positive that this dude did not do it, but then like the next episode they give you some more information, and you're like, wait a second, no, you did do it. and
that's funny. Yeah,
and it really is just like a great back and forth of trying to figure out whether this guy actually committed the murder or not, or whether his state or city, local government was trying to set him up. Let's see, something else that I've been watching recently on Netflix. 7 Deadly Sins. That's an anime on Netflix. Really good. The story's been fantastic. I haven't read, I don't even know if it has a manga, to be honest with you, but if it does, I haven't read it to like compare the manga to what we get as the anime. But it's probably my favorite anime that's on Netflix, at least right now, because it's fantastic. The artwork is great, and then I know some people don't really like subbed anime. The dub is really good. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying people in general.
I didn't say anything because I realized it might not be me. I'm sorry. She knows I'm defensive. I assume I'm trying to do better. So yes, my hands did go up, but I kept my mouth closed because I realized he might not actually be trying to throw shade at me.
No, I wasn't.
So, my bad.
I just know some people in general just aren't big fans of sub, and as crazy as I personally think that is, that's all up to you guys. But the dub for this is really good, and even I'll watch it. Like if I'm watching it and I'm kind of busy, I'll turn on the dub because obviously sub you have to be paying attention.
You can't really be busy unless you just
no
speak
Japanese.
the language, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can understand a little bit of Japanese, but I certainly can't understand it enough to, like, know what's going on in the show if I'm not paying attention. Another thing on Netflix, it's not really a show, but Netflix has really been killing it when it comes to, like, their stand-up content. And the two that I've liked the most has been... Chris Rock has one called, what is it? It's called Tambourine. And I've enjoyed, or I shouldn't say, it's not my favorite stand-up of his. I won't go that far. But as far as what's on Netflix and their stand-up, it's hilarious. And then definitely my favorite stand-up on Netflix is both of Dave Chappelle's stand-ups. If you like anything Dave Chappelle, he doesn't miss on this at all. And them signing him a check for $64 million, they definitely got that money back because it's hilarious. I've definitely watched it multiple times, and normally stand-up isn't something that you can really watch multiple times, especially in a short period of time. But it's so relatable. It's great to see him back doing his thing, and he just absolutely kills it. So definitely I recommend that. And then there's not really any original content on Hulu that I'm really into.
Yeah, same.
And
That's nothing
It's
against
basically
Hulu.
Netflix and
It's
Prime.
just, yeah.
and even
there is anything that really like attracts me from their original content right now.
And even Prime, I don't think there's anything that I watch on Prime that's original content.
I want to watch that Handmaid's Tale because
Oh,
I've heard
Well, that's Hulu. That's Hulu.
Oh, is that Hulu?
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that Hulu?
Okay. Well,
I knew they had something that was like a big
I've
deal.
heard
I
that
just haven't
that's
seen it.
very, very good. So I do want to check that out on
Yeah.
on
There's 2
Hulu
seasons
or
of
wherever
that
it's
now.
at. Because I've heard really good things about that. And then there was one other one. I forgot what it was. That's gone.
If you remember,
Yeah, if I remember. I'll probably remember as soon as it's done, or I'll do the thing that we did last time. I'll be signing it up, and I'll be like, oh! Yeah, I can't remember. But I do want to watch that, too.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. So that is Hulu. I need to get started on that. I think it's already got 3 or 4 seasons already. Is it just 2?
Yeah.
I feel like it's been out long enough to have 3 or 4, but I forget. With this stuff, they wait forever.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they take breaks, so I think it's a first half of the season, then a big break, and then the second half of the season comes out later. Kind of how
yeah, I get what you're saying.
How to Get Away with Murder does stuff.
I thought.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I feel like they've been out for
It was all.
That was from my understanding. People are saying because Natalie.
Gotcha. And then.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Are you done talking about what you've been watching?
I was gonna do my anime, but I mean.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say something about the stand up, but I can wait until you finish talking about your shows.
No. I mean, since I'm on stand up, go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. I was just gonna say it's funny that she mentioned it. I definitely enjoy stand up. She does too.
Oh yes.
And we enjoy a lot of the stuff that's on Netflix. I was gonna say about the Chris Rock one, the Tambourine. I actually really couldn't get into that one, and I like Chris Rock stand up. But that one, I ended up just not finishing it because it just wasn't doing anything for me. And the same happened with the Jerry Seinfeld one that they put up there too.
Yeah,
that one didn't work for me either. And her in-laws, my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, they're pretty big Adam Sandler fans. And his one didn't really work for me either.
That's kind of what Wyatt said too. Though he was "It's
total." Completely doing little songs and stuff the whole time, and I was just like,
So I haven't. Yeah, I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan. I haven't started his stand up yet. I did notice that a lot of the promotion was about the songs that he was doing. So it's
just cut in and out of that.
That's basically all it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is kind of sad and makes me a little bit less interested to know if that's a huge part of what it is. Because don't get me wrong, I like his parody jokes or parody songs, but I also like it when he's telling just straight up jokes.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, go ahead.
Dave Chappelle's.
Oh, I was just gonna say all the Dave Chappelle socials are amazing.
Yeah.
So funny.
I was gonna say, in case you haven't ever listened to him before, because he's on Netflix too, he's got a good few of them. John Mulaney is super funny.
Yeah, that man
and
has
he's
my heart.
on Netflix as well.
Okay, I'll have to add him because no, I haven't watched.
He's
that's
fantastic.
the best. If you haven't heard any of his stuff before, that's the best stand-up specials I can recommend to go check out. I think he's got 3 or 4 on Netflix.
They're 3,
and yeah, they're all
Okay.
They're all very funny. The middle one is like the weakest, I think, of them all.
Still funny.
But it's still
just
very funny.
it falls a little flat. Like, I mean, certain things don't hit as much with me, but the first and the third one are just wonderful. Like, and that's something you're saying. Like, it's hard to watch stand up like repeated. You know, like when you hear the jokes and stuff. I can watch freaking John. The same, honestly, for Dave Chappelle, but for both those two. But John especially, like, I can watch his stuff and still laugh at things. Yeah, I'm just thinking about stuff in my mind, and it'll bring me to tears sometimes. It is so unbelievably.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I went ahead and I added all three of the stand-ups, so I'll probably start those in the next couple of days.
Cool.
To watch them.
Yes. Yeah, I'll rewatch them.
And then anime, since we're in the fall simulcast, Fairy Tail. It's the last season of that, so I'm a huge fan of that series. So I've been watching that and crying a little bit when it's over, because it's one of those where it's been on for a couple of years now, and you just get it's part of your life, and you never want to see those end.
Yeah, you get touched.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the day that we find out that Dragon Ball is just, like, they're done, we're not getting any more episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we'll ever actually get there.
We'll never get there.
Well, no, I think when Toriyama passes, that's when we'll get to that point.
I have a feeling that man has, like, stuff, like, on deck.
Well,
like, just loads of things in his safe. Just for so everything can continue.
Well, I mean, even now, technically, he doesn't really do much. Like, he'll basically, like, I forget who the other guy is, but he'll do the drawing and the majority of this of the, not the story, but he'll do the majority of the artwork. But Toriyama will kind of have a premise of what he wants the art to be. So he doesn't really do much anymore, but I don't know if I could see that kind of continuing once he passes. But again, there has been plenty of content that's been made with him alive that he's really not a part. Like GT, he had literally no part in that. So we'll have to see. And funny enough, the reason why we're getting an official Brawly movie now is because he completely forgot that he even did a Brawly movie in the 90s. So he went ahead and he's going to make that canon because he just forgot that he did it.
My bad, everybody.
Another anime that I've been watching lately is, and this is kind of just like a goof anime, it's called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Obviously the name kind of gives the premise away. There's the main character, he dies, he gets reincarnated as a ball of slime, and it's about his adventures in like another dimension. So it's not
that sounds kind of fun, actually.
So it's pretty funny. It's not like there is some action. It's pretty story driven, but it's one of those where like I enjoy watching it. And then Goblin Slayer is really good. The story is great. The action's pretty decent. The drawings of the hot goblins are really why most people watch it. But you know, what are you gonna do with anime fans sometimes? And then the last one I'll mention is Zombieland Saga. This is another comedy anime, and it's about like this group of girls. I want to say it's like 6 or 7 girls, and it's about them trying to live their life in the regular world, but they're zombies, and they obviously don't want everybody to find out that they're zombies, but they put themselves in situations where it's kind of a giveaway. So watching them go through that is pretty funny. Right now, I will say the fall list of anime isn't too great. A lot of the good stuff, it's gonna come the spring. Winter and spring is when we should be getting a lot more of like a lot of people's favorite stuff. So it's kind of been on a lull right now, but that's what I've been watching as far as when it comes to the streaming services. And then I know we talked about Titans a lot earlier. I will go ahead and kind of start watching that and see how I like it. Because again, I only watched one episode.
I feel it's set to finish December 15th or something like that. So there's only a month left of them. So you could wait a month and then binge it all if you wanted to.
You look like you have no neck.
Do I?
I do. I don't have a long neck, but.
Oh. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I will admit, I do think it's a good idea that they're not overlapping that with Young Justice, so fans can pay attention to one and then fully go into the other. Because not gonna lie, I think if you ask most fans that are in the service, what are you gonna watch more? The third season of Young Justice or the first season of Titans? Titans would not win that one.
Yeah,
for me, all the way.
I think most people would probably agree with you on that. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. Go ahead.
It just made me think. Honestly, the tone that they take in Young Justice, that feels like that probably would have been fine with Titans too.
He's really got a problem with the tone. In case you guys couldn't tell,
it's too much. And it just feels like if they're asked to people think Teen Titans Go is kiddie, so we gotta really show them it's not. It's just too far. That's too reactionary.
It's all the DC reactionary, whether it's with WB or not. It's all reactionary.
That's why I'm expressing my frustration because, that's way too much in the opposite direction.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
I agree with that. From what it sounds like, I do think that that's a little bit too dark. I understand why you would put the characters in a position like that, but you don't have to go overboard with it.
I mean, it's still based into Teen Titans. I know they're just going with Titans, but something where the comic counterpart is called Teen Titans, I feel like you should be able to let your kids see some of it.
Oh, definitely not.
You cannot at all with this.
No,
I mean, even the comic books have dark stories. Comic books in general, you're always going to come across some dark storyline at some point. Okay, I take that back. There probably are some characters that wouldn't make sense to really go dark at all. But Teen Titans is one of those where there are dark moments, but I wouldn't call it remotely close to horror or murder or stuff like that. That's just not really what they're about.
No, that's what they're about.
So yeah.
That's what Titans is about for sure. And it's
really just Dick and Corey, which it helps because they are the older ones, because Dick's gotta be in his 30s or at least close to it.
We remember we kind of did the math. He should be about
he's somewhere between my age and 30. I bet he's somewhere between 25 and 30.
I think he's closer to 28.
Maybe. I'm just saying he's there. I don't know how old Corey is, but she doesn't look young. She doesn't look old, but she doesn't look... she's not a teen. She's also 20s. In her late 20s, I'd bet. Yeah. Or early 30s, potentially. So, they are grown. They're not teens. But on the other side, Gar is for sure, kind of a teen. He's, permanently a teen. But...
Did they say that? That he won't age?
Yeah, because when he got the whole thing, it said... I don't know if we can do this because of spoilers, but...
we can talk about it.
Okay.
Sorry. I just don't remember anything about that, but we'll talk about it.
We'll chat about it later.
So, but yeah, I think do we have anything else that we want to talk about when it comes to streaming anything?
No, but I feel we need to go watch a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they're still on my list right now. But I mean, we also didn't talk about streaming movies or anything, movies that I know Netflix. There's several films that Netflix has done that is on my list right now for Netflix.
What's the last Netflix movie we saw?
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
I can think of the one where
the horror one.
Yeah, with the murdering of the mom.
There's another horror movie of the mom.
Yeah. The father of the mom wants a divorce. She wants to go back to so he kills her, buries her.
1922.
There it is.
I don't think that was the last one we watched. I think we watched the one.
I know that's what I'm saying, but that's the last one that I can.
The four guys,
and four guys
with isn't there something like that? It's in some kind of. You saw it too, and yes, You saw it too, and we reviewed it.
Oh, the one where like they go through the woods and there's like that weird creature thing.
Yeah, I just can't remember what it's called.
Are you sure you didn't watch this with like your
Yes,
mistress?
I watched it with you.
Yeah, you watched it because we reviewed it.
Yeah, and I know I watched it with you. You saw
Did I say I liked it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, what's this?
All of them end up basically all of them end up dying. Spoiler alert.
I'm scrolling through to see if I can find it.
Netflix movie.
Oh, The Ritual.
Yes.
Oh, I did like that.
Yeah. So there's that, and then
That was a good one.
they've had a couple things that have just come out that are pretty like noteworthy or whatever.
I didn't realize that the upcoming Jungle Book movie, Mowgli, that's actually a Netflix movie. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out. They're gonna put it in theaters for like a little bit, and then, and then I think it's Alfonso Cuarón had a very noteworthy movie called Roma. I don't know if it's available on Netflix yet, but that's a really highly touted thing with like Oscar hopes.
Gotcha.
It's
So,
on
yeah.
Netflix?
Yeah, but I don't. It's coming to Netflix.
Okay.
Like Netflix produced it, so yeah. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. Especially since we haven't seen these movies besides the one that came out months ago.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I am hoping that we get a 5th season of Black Mirror, though. I'll just leave it at that. I won't go too far into it, but I love that show.
That's a good show.
I'm still way behind on it.
We are way behind.
It's just
That's
so
a hard one for us to binge, honestly. So
I know
it's
Chuck mentions like he can only take so much of it, and then he has to like take a break.
Dark. I feel the heaviness on my soul. I'm just like,
It doesn't help that sometimes the episodes are like a full like hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, there's some of them where I'm like, good God, this has been going on for a long time. How long? And Charles is like, well, it's been a really long time. Like, oh, okay.
By the way, that's going to be like the length of the last season for Game of Thrones. Since we're only doing 6 episodes, a lot of the episodes are going to be like more than an hour.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
we gotta get on that.
Yes, we do.
All right, everybody. Taking some time out your day to watch and listen to us, however you got the content. I hope you enjoyed our conversation going over our favorite Stan Lee cameos as a tribute to the legend, as well as some of the most highly recommended available to stream that we've currently seen and watched and are fans of. So without further ado, this evening.
Without further ado, we're leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm a little off right now, but signing off, I should just said I could have saved all of this by just saying signing off, everybody.
Without further ado, I'm all of
I said good evening too. So I'm way off because it's like 11 in the morning right now. Anyways, signing off. Once again, I'm Charles. We have Kelsey with me.
Bye, guys.
Sai.
Bye, everybody.
Daniel had to peace out earlier, but he would also sign off to you guys. Enjoy your weekend or whenever the hell you listen to it.
And what's left of your evening.
Right.
And what's left. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.